Welcome back to Real Clear Radio Hour, brought to you by the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I'm your host, Bill Frezza. Reporting from Radio Row at the 2015 Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C., we're pleased to have Paul Van Remortel from StandUnited.org. Paul, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here.
Paul, tell us about Stand United.
So Stand United is a petition platform to empower conservatives to take action on issues that they think is important.
So this is a kind of a counter to Change.org?
Very much so. We know from Change.org that online petitions can be very successful. We have not seen a large-scale open petition platform for center-right audiences. So seeing this sort of glaring lack of a platform for conservatives to unify, to band together on issues that they think is important and to speak directly to decision makers in large numbers, we wanted to create that platform for them to basically have the same opportunity that the liberals and progressives have with their platforms.
Why does it always seem that the conservatives are playing catch-up in the media game?
Because they are, especially in political tech and advocacy. You know, it is cyclical, though. I mean, Republicans have had presidential cycles, presidential campaigns where they outgunned
on the communications front.
Well,
it's been a while.
Right. And, well, even in the 2000 presidential campaign, I mean, widely acknowledged that, Republicans, did well with the data, starting to use technology. But then, of course, they fell behind. I think Republicans are making great strides. I mean, I want to emphasize that Stand United is not just political. We certainly speak to center-right audiences, but some of our issues will be apolitical. It might be a hyper-local issue.
Well, bubbles up from the bottom, right? I mean, it's the people who get online who choose the issues.
Anyone can go start a free petition on StandUnited.org, just like they can on Change. We're already seeing issues that really are nonpartisan. A lot in the way of privacy and personal privacy protection.
Well, that's one that cuts across, yeah.
It does, and I had no idea that there's an issue with big box retailers scanning driver's licenses during the purchase, the transaction. Someone came to Stand United and created this petition urging Congress and state governments to look into this and potentially regulate what information can be taken from individuals off of their driver's licenses. And that petition actually has several thousand signatures now. So that has bubbled up.
How do you define a successful online petition? What does that mean?
Well, yeah, there are different metrics of success. I mean, so a petition has a very specific ask, right? So there's some goal that is attainable, and you're petitioning a decision maker who has the ability to take some action.
So is it policy success that
well, you could say, okay, was this bill that we were in favor of or opposed, did it in fact pass or was it in fact defeated? So, I mean, you could claim some success there. Right. It might be a non-political issue. Maybe you are petitioning a corporation. Maybe it has to do with one of their products. Maybe there's a product defect, or maybe there's something in their food. And if a petition really goes viral, and then you start to get media coverage. So Change.org, they use the case of the ATM fees, the Bank of America. This petition was widely credited as forcing Bank of America to rescind these fees, these debit fees. But you can influence a decision maker, and maybe your issue hasn't quote unquote won, but you've still raised awareness of the issue.
So is it media pickup that's the measure of success?
Well, that can be a measure. It really depends on the issue. I mean, it really depends on what your goal is. In some cases, it is just raising awareness of an issue. You may not get the exact outcome that you wanted, but sometimes just raising the visibility and sort of pulling the curtain back, getting the sunlight on the issue is enough.
Does any community building take place as a result of these? Do people discover each other, find each other? Are there any addresses being collected? Is there any follow-up that goes on after this?
That's really up to the petition creator. We have to protect the data and the privacy of our users. For our sponsored petitions, for groups that come to us and say, we need help driving signatures to this petition, The signer of the petition has an opt-in option to receive updates from the sponsoring group. So in that sense, the sponsoring group, if the signer agrees to receive follow-up communications, then that group can
attempt to collect.
We'll have an ongoing conversation with their supporters. So we're connecting the group that supports the issue and the issue, we're connecting them with their supporters who they otherwise wouldn't find.
Yep. So you've mentioned sponsored petitions. What's your business model? How do you make money?
That's basically it. So in order to run a free, open petition platform, groups will pay Stand United for our pushing pushing users to their...
Is that how Change.org works also? Same business model, or are they supported by wealthy donors?
No, they're a business. They are a for-profit business.
Okay.
They're a for-profit business, and so is Care2. Care2 has a similar sponsorship model. Change, they have a slightly different sort of revenue feature, like in addition to sponsored petitions. Anyone who just starts a free petition, they can pay like $50 or $100 to have their petition
uplifted, promoted,
bumped up,
kind of like the Facebook model.
Yeah, exactly.
So click fraud is a big problem in the online advertising world. Always has been. Is there anything like that showing up in the petition world? Fake robots that are signing petitions?
We have measures in place to prevent that so that we know it's a human. We have very low email bounce rates.
Oh, that would be a sign, right?
Right. I mean, if someone's using a fake email address, then it's going to bounce, and then basically that would just be removed from our email feature. It's possible that someone could use someone else's name and email address, but
no, I'm talking about robot click fraud where there are tens of thousands of clicks.
No, we have security measures for that.
So, Paul, what has your most popular petition been so far?
Yeah, well, so this is very timely because there's the issue of net neutrality, which is currently an issue, and the petition currently on Stand United with the most signatures is a Protect Internet Freedom, which opposes the government regulation of the Internet, which is what the FCC wants to do.
Well, round one, they voted in favor of that, so it looks like we're going to get Title II regulation of the Internet.
Well, the fight's not over. I mean, it'll go to the courts. Yeah, there will be a sort of appeals process there, but over 30,000 signatures on a petition in a couple weeks.
Wow.
And it's important to note that we just launched in January 2015. So
you're newbies.
We're newbies, and that's why we're here at CPAC, to sort of introduce ourselves to the conservative movement, and we're excited about the opportunities to get grassroots petitions.
Are you getting any traction here at CPAC?
We are. We're set up in the marketplace in the hub. We have a booth. People are coming by. They're signing petitions. Yeah, I'm talking to other media outlets, which has been great. We're networking with the various conservative grassroots organizations here, which is great. And so, back to some of the other petitions, the one to award Chris Kyle, the American sniper, the Medal of Honor, doing very well. I believe we're up around 20,000 signatures on that. A lot of petitions, a lot of the political ones are opposing certain policies of President Obama, his executive amnesty.
Sure.
Is one. The Obamacare tax is one. We have a new one by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce on a union rule where employers would have to give unions the personal information of workers.
This is violate the privacy of their workers, right?
Exactly. Right. And that's related to what's called the ambush election rule. So we're just starting to get support come in for that. Term limits was one that was just started by
there's an idea that will never go away. It never seems to work.
It never seems to work. Yeah, I was up on the Hill back in the 90s when...
You're up against both parties on this one.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because a lot of the members of Congress will pledge to serve one or two terms. They get elected, and then they're like, oh, just one or two more, and I swear that's it. So term limits, and we're getting new petitions every day. So sometimes I'm surprised to see a lot of them are just our local issues, which is great. I mean, we want the local issues, and we want to try to get some publicity, some media spotlight on some of these issues. That's part of our strategy, because when petitions are successful on Stand United, the whole platform is successful.
Do you collect demographics on your petitioners? I was pleasantly surprised by the number of young people here at CPAC.
We do not require age, for instance, to sign a petition, but we have profile fields.
People can fill in.
They can fill in, and then that way we can tell them about petitions or issue areas that they might be more interested in.
Okay, so they can self-select.
They can self-select, and that's totally up to the user, whether they want to do that or not. It's sort of one of those things where if you want more targeted, if you want more targeted ads, like people are not always happy about it, but then they're getting more relevant content.
Right.
Now we don't do ads, so I don't want to confuse that issue, but we want to give our users the best possible user experience, and that's really from sort of a technical standpoint. That's our highest priority, is making sure the user experience is a positive one, and so that people come back
and use it.
It's easy to sign. It's easy to create a petition.
So, Paul, we're heading into a presidential election. What does success look like for you in the early days of your business?
Right. Well, so in our first year of operation, we would love to reach 1 million signers. We're on pace for that. Going into the elections, campaigns have an opportunity to use the platform to help build up their base of support.
Sure.
And so we're looking forward to working with all the candidates who can put their issue in the form of a petition and reach their potential base, reach a broad conservative base, and see what kind of support they can generate through Stand United.
Paul, thanks for being on the show, and good luck with your business.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
That was Paul Van Remortel from StandUnited.org here on Real Clear Radio Hour, brought to you by the Competitive Enterprise Institute. I'm your host, Bill Frezza. Sign up for updates on RealClearRadio.org, like us on Facebook, or follow the show on Twitter at RealClearFrezza. And stop by America's premier independent political website, RealClearPolitics.com. I check Real Clear every morning for both original content and digital curation of stories from around the world. Next up is Yaron Brook from the Ayn Rand Institute, always happy to torment political opportunists from any party. Stay tuned.